Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene. Today's date, May 15, 2026. Time in Texas about 11 a.m. Excuse me. Some of the things we'll cover. President Trump wheels up, and a secret deal between Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, and U.S. intel. So let's get started. I have this from a Patriot subscriber. Based on my last video about a potential assassination attempt on President Trump inside China, my Patriot subscriber says, sounds like Archangel Michael is protecting President Trump. And I have this from a Patriot subscriber. Hi from North Texas. It's getting really interesting here, and a lot of sheep are waking up. We have this from a Patriot subscriber giving a prediction by Pastor Philip Barnett that very soon Mar-a-Lago will be hit by China with heavy weapons. I'm totally confident U.S. intel, U.S. military intel, and the U.S. military and God can protect America from China. And we have this. So this information comes out from Mike from around the world that any trade deals we've seen happen in the past couple of days between the U.S. and China need to wait 2 weeks to see what China will actually do. And we know that China, President Xi to President Trump during this trip to China made clear to the U.S. that a red line for China would be the U.S. Making any more belligerent moves to protect or arm Taiwan, and that could lead to a war between the U.S. and China. Taiwan is a red line for China. Yeah, so that's going on. So evidently there were some deep discussions there. And we have this, that the CC, it's known and being put out by U.S. intel, that it's known the CCP leaders in China want to completely destroy the U.S. and that China will not allow the U.S. to take down Iran. And we have this about Iran, that possibly the U.S. will also engage in arming the Iranian people to take down the IRGC. It's possible that this action by the U.S. could be going on now. And we have this, that the best, some U.S. intel sources believe that the best we can hope for in Iran is, it's believed the U.S. is getting ready to hit Iran even harder than it did under Epic Fury, under the new Operation Sledgehammer. But some U.S. intel analysts believe the best this will produce is a pause for about 6 months. So we'll have to see. And it's U.S. intel puts out, during the ceasefire, Iran rearmed itself and rebuilt up to 90% of its missiles and drones. Apparently, they have some deep underground bunkers we haven't taken out yet. We know under Epic Fury, the U.S. military took out up to 90% of their surface manufacturing facilities for missiles and drones. And it's now believed that Iran may have up to 47% more launchers than the U.S. initially believed, also inside deep underground bunkers. And we have this, this information is interesting, and information is coming out now about the sinking of a Russian sub in 2024 off of the coast of Spain that was carrying 2 nuclear reactors to North Korea. So the U.S. intel is putting this information out now, demonstrating that the U.S. in 2024 was active in disrupting Russia's supply chain to North Korea with nuclear reactors. So that's going on. And we have this. Dialogue Works interviewed Larry Johnson, former CIA, and retired Colonel Wilkerson, bringing out some interesting intel that China did insult the U.S. during this visit between President Trump and President Xi this week. And they demonstrated to the world that China was insulting both President Trump and the U.S. And that Xi has said no to the U.S. request for help in managing Iran. And we have this. Based on intel coming out of Pakistan, there is a secret deal between Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, and for security. And that part of this includes the Gulf states in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, and so on, expelling U.S. military from the Persian Gulf, and that Qatar and Saudi Arabia will completely separate from the U.S. in both security and trade. And we have this from Colonel Wilkerson intel, that Benjamin Netanyahu was scheduled to make a trip to Pakistan, and we know that Pakistan is up to their eyeballs in helping China and Russia arm Iran. So Benjamin Netanyahu was supposed to make a trip there in the next few days. That's been delayed. And we have this. Navy Channel talking about a new Pentagon contract to Boeing for GBU-57s, 30,000-pound bombs that were used in the U.S. military operation Midnight Hammer. So now it's believed the U.S., in their next hit on Iran, will use the very deep 30,000-pound bombs to hit deeper underground in Iran. And that Iran has rebuilt missiles and drones, and that the U.S. will use these 30,000-pound bombs to take out the deeper underground manufacturing facilities for Iran, as well as fortified islands in the Strait of Hormuz. So that's going on. Another U.S. weapon that will be used in the upcoming second wave hit on Iran will include the GBU-72 5,000-pound precision-guided bombs. It's believed the U.S. will use to take out everything along the southern coast of Iran near the Strait of Hormuz. And we have this from U.S. intel. President Trump wheels up in the air, leaving China. It's believed that this second Operation Sledgehammer by the U.S. military and Israel may begin very soon. Possibly, it's believed that when President Trump is up and away from China, that this second wave will begin. That concludes my flash update. I love you, and I'll see you soon.